we talk a lot about how broadcasting, so many stations now, you got to be a little homogenized to keep your job. We got a guy who joined us now who's a great player, and I don't know how much longer you're going to stay on. You're too tough on NBC, right? You don't hold anything back. Rodney Harrison.
Hey, man, you just got to, first of all, thanks for having me, and really a pleasure to be out here in San Francisco. And if I had your money, I would live out here. It's a beautiful place.
No, it is tough, but how much you need? I'll loan you something.
Man, these taxes are ridiculous out here. I'm used to, close to half of my salary being taken away when I used to play in California.
Yeah. But I'm praising you, but also I think it's some truth. How many times does somebody from NBC say, Rodney, it's a little strong what you said?
I don't think it has ever really happened to
me,
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys where, I respect the game. I respect the players and the coaches because I've been there. I've been around the NFL for over 20 years. But the one thing that I have to be true to myself and true to the fans. And people say, well, you're a homer. How the hell am I a homer when I've called, the Patriots defensive secondary at one point in time the worst they've had in the last decade, when I've criticized Bill Belichick. So my thing is this: I'm always going to be honest because I think fans, they can smell BS. And whether it's me criticizing myself, admitting to, using HGH, I'm always going to be honest. I don't have to have friendships with the Odell Beckhams and these young guys of the world. I don't give a damn about friendships with those guys. Wow. But I do respect the audience, and I'm always going to be honest.
What's the thing with Beckham? I'm just curious. Did you say something in particular?
No, I'm just saying, he's a great player, and I love him.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. He was just a name that I used, but I respect the game. I love to see these guys come in and exciting players, but at the same time, if I'm going to criticize Tom Brady, I'm going to criticize everyone as well as.
Well, that's the way you got to do it. You don't last for long trying to make friends with everybody, and you're a straight shooter. I think people respect that. Now, we should tell people who they're listening to. Rodney Harrison, who's the host of the Safety Blitz weekends on NBC Sports Radio and the mobile app, and of course Football Night in America, #1 show on TV right now, and we were talking off the air about you started with the Chargers, Western Illinois, 5th-round pick out of Western Illinois.
Larry knows all this stuff, Rodney. He can tell you probably.
Well, he does his reasonch, unlike some people.
Exactly. Look at Rodney's pointing the finger.
If you had my money, what the hell I'm going to spend time looking at this crap? No, don't brother me. When Rodney comes in here, he already knocked my show. You go, hey, no, can I mess? Rodney comes in, he goes, there's too many white people here. I brought Tanika down here.
Did I say that?
No.
What did I say? I just said I'm adding a little color. That's all I said.
Okay, no, I got to laugh. Your representative, like, oh, wait, what's going on here? No, we're playing.
Break it up. Get Rodney to another station.
That's my radio boss right there.
I know he was real cute, though. He kind of looked at us. He says, Rodney, what's going on here? No, we're totally playing.
No, but you started with the Chargers.
Tanika, move a little closer if you can here.
You started with the Chargers and went to the Patriots. We were talking off the air or before the interview about the decision. You had some options, maybe going to the Raiders, and you decided to go play for Belichick. Talk to us a little bit about how that came down.
Well, I was kind of all over the place getting calls as a free agent, and I was actually surprised that the Chargers cut me because when I played my last year, I was hurt. 35% of my groin was ripped from the bone. I'm out there hobbling along, and they said, don't worry about it. We understand that you're hurt, and we're going to make sure that you're okay. And right after the season, they cut me. And then they put out that, well, he's lost a step. And Belichick called. He said, look, we want you to come here. We want you here. I want you to be a leader. And the story that ultimately made me sign with Bill Belichick, and this is why he's so much smarter than everyone else. So I'm warming up. Back in I think it was 2002 when I was with the Chargers and we played against the Patriots, I was in warm-ups. I hit a guy warming up, one of our defensive backs, and he remembered that. He said, I remember when you were warming up, you hit number 21 or whatever it was and knocked him on his butt. I was impressed with that type of intensity. And I said, how did you remember that? And he says, I see everything. And that's the thing that impressed me. I looked at my agent, and my agent was sitting right here. I said, you know what? Go get a deal done. I don't care what the amount of money is. Just get a deal done. I want to be here. Yeah. And that's when I signed.
We're talking with Rodney Harrison, former great player, and now has a good thing going in broadcasting. The hitting. You made a name as you're people obviously Ronnie Lott. That's our guy here in the Bay Area.
I
You're
love
like
Ronnie.
a Ronnie. Yeah.
I love Ronnie.
You were
and
like
I have
a
his,
Ronnie. Yeah.
I have his jersey in my basement.
Yeah.
A guy that I love, and I love when I get a chance to see him and meet him and spend some time with him. A guy that really I tried to pattern my game. So when you talk about Ronnie Lott, he's a guy that I really get excited about and get emotional about, because the two guys that really influenced me in my career was Junior Seau and Ronnie Lott.
Wow.
Just the toughness from Ronnie Lott, the work ethic from Junior Seau, the guys that taught you how to be a pro and made you proud to play in this league.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, just for people who maybe, out here not that familiar with it. You played like Ronnie Lott, and I'm curious, you think the game is getting a little soft from the standpoint of all the calls and that, again, if you we were just having a discussion, if you don't want to have a concussion or the threat of it, then don't play football. Right?
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, and you hit it right on the head, and everyone's surprised, and I've been very vocal and said, look, I suffer sometimes with headaches and things of that sort. I think it's all part of playing the game. I think obviously the NFL, they could have done a better job of taking guys that came before me and making sure they had the proper medical attention and making sure financially that these guys were taken care of to a certain degree. But, I mean, that's football. And the one thing, I'll tell you this, looking at last week's Peyton game between the Patriots and the Denver Broncos, what stood out to you? What stood out to me was the Denver Broncos safeties. They were hitting.
Yeah.
They were hitting. And if I'm Corey Brown, if I'm Ted Ginn Jr., I'm looking at that tape and I'm saying, if I go across the middle and those safeties, they're going to knock my head off. And that's the reason why, back in the day, we didn't have a bunch of guys catching over 100 passes. Now you get guys 80, 90 receptions, guys that you never even heard of, because that's what happens. They're not afraid to come across the middle.
It's the safety positions that evolved now, where there was Joey Browner and Fulcher and all those guys, Ronnie and Atwater, and then your whole era of football. Now it's almost like they want a bunch of corners and then play linebackers. They almost like the safety, the hard-hitting safety who patrols the middle of the field and sets a tone, is almost a dinosaur in today's NFL.
Yeah, and Chris Harris was looked at as being, last week when he talked about, or 2 weeks ago when he talked about hitting Rob Gronkowski at his knee, he came out and said that, and everybody was shocked. And I'm like, well, that's what the NFL is promoting. That's what they want. They want you to hit at the knees. They don't want you to hit in the head, the neck area, because, because now you're going to get a fine. You might get suspended. So it's one of those things that's unfortunate.
Before we get out of here, one thing on the game.
He's rushing me, too.
Yeah, everybody's rushing.
No. The guy behind you right there. In fact, Rodney, since you brought it up, another white guy rushing you right off. You see that?
He doesn't look so tough.
Yeah.
Hey, you think Peyton's got enough to pull it off on Sunday? No. You're going to go
I think Carolina's the best team overall, offense, defense, special teams. I think Cam is the X factor, but just dealing with that defense, there's no way I don't believe that Peyton can come out, pass the ball 40, 50 times. They're not going to have success running the ball.
Yeah.
I don't think they win the game.
Hey, Rodney, I know you got to run. We got to run. We got Tim Brown coming up here, but
he's more important than me. Tim, you're more important than me. Come over here.
I can remember the year. Remember the year you guys practice in camp with the Niners.
I want to know.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Huh?
This is my last point.
No, you got Tim Brown there too.
We sit here and we talk about all these guys like Jerry Rice and but this is the guy that was really a pain in the butt.
Tim Brown.
All right, what do you do?
One of the toughest guys that I've ever played against, a guy that wasn't afraid to come across the middle. All those little short passes, he really set the foundation for the guys like Hines Ward and those type of guys, the Larry Fitzgeralds. It was him before Hines Ward and Larry Fitzgerald.
Hall
of Fame.
Well deserved. Good call. Thanks, Rodney. Thanks for coming by, man.
Rodney dropping the mic. It wasn't that good.
Hey, Rodney, thanks for coming on, man.
Very good, Rodney.